This is PodKit, Episode 8, WebKit is Bay, on Tuesday, July 28th, 2015, and now, Safari or Nothing Else. This episode of PodKit is hosted by Brandon Johnson, Brian Mitchell, and Ryan Rampersad. This episode of PodKit has show notes at thenexus.tv/PK8.
Hey, welcome to PodKit, Episode 8.
8.
I only know that because Brian keeps track of this.
I try.
Totally. So yeah, episode 8. Is it like Crazy 8, like a card game, or is it going to be like not like that? Maybe not. No.
I don't know. Do you have to match for that?
I guess possibly. We'll see. Maybe this one will be different than all the other ones. In fact, I think there's a different segment right now.
Oh, what is this new segment to speak of?
I think we're going to call it Who I Followed on Twitter This Week.
Well, I love this segment.
I was poking through the show notes and looking through Twitter, and I'll just start.
Go for it.
I put this in yesterday. Going to Twitter and see my follow. So I followed followers, not following. My big follow of last week was following WebKit on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I poked around on the WebKit website, just seeing what new APIs they're implementing and cool, fancy ES6 stuff and all that. Mm-hmm. And I follow them on Twitter, and it's pretty cool. Let's see, who else did I follow? I followed Lemont Washington, or Coco Labs.
Mm-hmm.
He's a developer guy at Apple.
Nice.
I followed Ayaka Nanaka, that's probably pronounced wrong, an iOS developer. And I think that's all for this week. 3. I kept it short.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I, as usual, followed like 15 people, so I'm just going to pick like the top 6 or 9 or 6.
Yeah.
We'll see how far it gets before this gets a little bit too ridiculous. So most recently, I followed Tech Insider, which is the new kind of sub-site of Business Insider, which used to be called Silicon Alley Insider, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about Tech Insider at all?
I don't think so.
It's pretty cool.
Heard about Business Insider.
Yeah, so like Tech Insider is kind of like their, the verge to Business Insider's Vox, kind of, right? So if you look it up right now, I think it's at techinsider.io.
.net.
Yeah, that's right. Looks like it's .io based on the Twitter thing, but what do I know?
I don't know. I googled something called Tech Insider then.
Who knows? Anyhow, it's there. It's even in the show notes now. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, well, what's this other Tech Insider? This is ridiculous.
There's another one? Oh my gosh, what's .net? This is fascinating. Oh, no, this is different. This is like I bet they're going to get a cease and desist someday soon.
Well, one of them, which one's the real one?
Will it be the new one who's just overconfident, or be the old one who's like, hey guys?
Okay, well, I like the new one's design better anyway.
Yeah. If a cease and desist order falls in the forest, like, does anyone actually get sued? Is that like I don't know. Anyhow, it looks like they're doing cool stuff, and they had this really awesome team picture where everyone is like doing their intense journalist person pose. Which which puts all the tech journalism feels in my heart, being a journalism major and a techie person.
Yep.
So that was cool. And it looks like they're doing some cool stuff, Not super like vergy in the sense of like being 10 megabytes that downloads every time you load the page. And
oh dear.
Ads and stuff. But it looks like they're doing some cool stuff, even though they're not that. It looks like a very clean, nice.
It's extremely clean.
Non-WordPressy sort of thing. No offense to the WordPress people here, but I always find it kind of weird when there's like the little WordPress bar at the top. That's like
you should defend them as much as possible. It's okay.
They're
used to it.
What is it? Like HuffPost does it, I think,
yep.
and
TechCrunch
does it.
Yep.
Like, I just don't understand it. Like, why would you want to have a global bar that like
and Gadget
that
probably
uses
does
Gravatar
it.
for it?
Yeah, everybody, all of those AOL properties do it.
I don't understand. It makes me slightly sad. I mean, the Nexus.tv doesn't do it.
No, because I refuse.
Exactly, as you should, rightly so. Like, because it's just like, I don't understand. It doesn't make me feel more engaged. It actually makes me feel less engaged because I don't want to know
you
who
just
I
want to
am.
read in private, whatever it's
Exactly.
there. I mean, it's TechCrunch. It can't be that good.
Exactly. Yeah, after like Alexia and the gang left
Yep.
to go studies and stuff, like there's who's there? I mean, like Michael Arrington's gone. I think even like TJ and the gang are gone too. Was TJ ever there? I don't know.
I never really followed
TJ.
TechCrunch too much because they just kind of, that was beyond me.
No.
I just remember always hearing that TechCrunch is a site I should avoid, like since high school, like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, totally. I don't know. There are some cool people that came out of it, but of course they're out of it now. So, that's a thing. Anyhow, other people I follow include Steve Klabnik, who is a Rustation, I think is the phrase.
One of them.
I think he wrote like some of the original Rust guides.
Very nice.
And he's also like a Node person too, which is cool because I like Node people. His name right now is actually Rust plus Node equals heart, which is cool. So he's Steve Klabnik, and I'm going to put him in
but
the show
but
notes
if he
as
doesn't
well.
put Go into that formula, then it's not true.
Oh, I think he has done Go. But
Oh, of course he did.
I don't think he's like as big into it, right? Let's see. A couple other people include Maddie Lang, who's a cinematographer from Minneapolis. This is like Minneapolis Twitter stuff, so maybe not super interesting to our audience, but other people include
Mostly Twin Cities.
Yeah, that's true.
We mostly also have no
Great
audience.
location, and everyone should know about it.
He does seem like a really awesome person, which is why I followed him. But the first like 15 tweets are not about tech, so maybe I'll just say Maddie is an awesome dude, that's for sure. So I'm putting his Twitter in the tweet thingamajig too. Also, there's a couple people I met at JavaScript Minnesota this month, which is kind of cool. One person who's like my name but with an L, so he's Landon. He's quite cool. He works for a company called Harbinger Partners, and I think they're out in kind of by the Guthrie, which is a cool area, and they're doing some cool stuff. So I put his in there too. He's friends with the Todd Gardners of the world, Track.js folks and stuff. So
Yep, and he went to Ruby MN last night.
Oh, you were there?
No, but that's what his
you reading it?
tweet says.
Also, oh gosh, I missed Ruby MN. I really wanted to go to that, but
I was not there.
yeah. And then a WebKit developer, keeping with the WebKit theme of tonight.
I must follow.
SMFRs.
I'm kind of a WebKit fanboy.
Oh, WebKit is bae. WebKit is truly bae. I totally agree. Like Safari or nothing else is my personal opinion here. I also followed like one of the full stack engineers or the principal engineer for Vox, so he does like the product stuff. He's done a couple of kind of fun posts about like what the heck Vox is doing and why their CMS kind of sucks because it sells you out to like 20 different ad networks and tracking sites.
It's not product team's fault.
No, totally, it's not their fault, but that's why he's been posting about it, right?
Yeah.
He's been like, this is not acceptable. How about we not do this? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, you got to ask Neil if it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could pull up that post. I don't know where it went, and he's kind of a prolific tweeter, so I can't, as you might expect from.
I follow another Vox product team guy, but I don't know who it is. I just see their tweets go by occasionally.
Oh, so there's somebody who, she's not a recent follow, but she's also on the product team. I think her name is Eden.
It's kind of funny. The product team is probably the only Vox property that I have any respect for now, which is
totally.
so sad.
You guys, did you read the article about all of Vox's sites being bad and slow? Yeah.
Yeah, I
so it sounds
did.
like they're trying. I haven't kept up too much, but I've read, Marco's done a bunch of stuff on Twitter about it.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. I think there's a post called like declaring performance bankruptcy.
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. Hold it up here. It's from way back in May, but it's worth a read if you're down for it.
Yep.
And then I also put Eden's Twitter in at the end. She's kind of awesome and like a fun person to follow in like the Jen Schiffer kind of sense. So kind of techie humor, techie snark, which I've been told is basically most of the things that I tweet too. So
I mean, if you carefully read that Vox product performance bankruptcy, the first bullet point it basically goes for is 4.8 seconds to first paint. That means you're staring at a blank screen for 4.8 seconds. That's almost 5 seconds of nothing.
It's like d.umn.edu.
Oh.
It's a goal, I guess, because they're already at, well, no, wait, that's not a goal. That's like the current state.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so their goal is 2 seconds to first paint. That's what their goal is.
Which is still substantial. I mean, it's good. It's reasonable, but it's substantial.
For a blog, which is text-based, it's kind of crazy.
Totally.
They should just set a timer on loading all of the external stuff and just load like straight page, couple inline CSS.
It really depends. I mean, some of the, like, for example, The Verge, as you know, we are sidetracking here, but okay, fine. You know, The Verge has this incredible design for some pages, but for most pages, just it's a straight column of text.
Yeah.
And there's no reason that we need to load every single sidebar module, comment module. Oh, but of course we have to load all the ads. Okay, fine. But yeah, The Verge has something going on with it. I don't really know the other properties too well. I don't know anything about SB Nation. Like, I've never even been to the site.
Yeah, same here.
I've seen links linked to it, but I don't know anything about it.
I feel like Vox is okay, but
that's because they don't have comments.
That's true. That's part of it.
I do like that.
I mean, I've told you all before about how for a time I was a political science major.
Yep.
And back in like when I was in high school and stuff, there was this person named Ezra Klein who used to work for Washington Post who ran away to join Vox along with like Matt Iglesias and people like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're all people who I thought were cool people.
Yep.
And now, of course, Vox.com.
I mean, Ezra's still pretty cool, but
totally.
but Vox.com, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not to say their content is bad. It's better than The Verge right now, but it clearly is going down the same route.
Totally.
And I don't read enough Polygon to know if they're doing it. I don't read anything from SB Nation, but I'm sure. I mean, I don't know how you can do a bad job at reporting sports news, but okay, I'm sure somebody can tell me.
Yeah.
I just went to Vox.com, and I'm presented with, several seconds of white, then a light gray background, and then an ad that covers 2/3 of the page.
Yeah.
Nice. So, do you guys think we've spent enough time talking about Vox Media properties?
I think so.
Ryan, who do you follow?
Well, I was going to ask, is there a way to see who you've recently followed?
The way that I do it is I just look at my Twitter, at the people I follow on Twitter, so it's like twitter.com/ my username,
following.
and then it's like a subroot of that. No, I think it's even just twitter.com/following.
Yeah, okay.
And you can look at the last few people you followed.
Okay, so PHP Today.
Nice.
So daily or every day or so, they tweet, some interesting PHP thing. I don't know what it was recently. Stuff about Laravel, stuff about PSR 7. Somebody did PHP 7 in general, which is pretty cool. Some good info about that. That's kind of cool. Little helper links. I've seen a few of them get repeated occasionally from the subreddit for PHP, but not a big surprise.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see here. Who else can I give you? That's it. I don't really follow people on Twitter. It's dangerous.
Understood.
Yeah, I definitely am. Like, I might get one a week. Generally, this week was a little weird, and I might unfollow some people too. I'm at 240. I follow 245, and I don't want too much more than that because then it becomes way too hard to watch.
So I try to make I used to follow a lot more, like journalist-esque people from Vox, but now not so much. I do try to follow developers when I can, though.
Totally. Yeah, for me, tweet of the week has to go to Adrian Porterfelt, who is a Chrome security researcher. Like, if you do not already follow this person, you need to check this out because she is not only an amazing security researcher. If you've seen any of her presentations, you'll know that. But she's got some awesome tweets, like the one that I just posted right there. That's
I saw this going around today.
very.badssl.com. Yeah. It's, it's stuff like that that makes Twitter kind of fun, which is why I follow like 15 people a week. I think my following count is currently at 1370. So I could probably, I would probably be all right if I unfollowed a couple of people.
No
but
way.
I don't, because I like all these people.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I would like to point out, since we talked about it last time, that on verybadssl.com, if you look at the source code, there's like 10 lines dedicated to centering a div in the middle of a screen.
Yay!
Oh yeah, it's just an H1 tag. I like it.
I mean,
with a bunch of styling, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny that it's just so hard to style things.
Oh, that is Comic Sans.
Oh, yep.
Hey, it's nice they're using view width and like nice scalable things.
Oh yeah, definitely. But still, 10 lines to center something.
Still pixels.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to use Flex. I haven't ever.
Yeah, I've only done it once, and it wasn't for something real. I was just playing with it one time.
Yeah. Basically I've used it for maybe a couple of things in production. And like, I mean, that's basically because our existing styles kind of already incorporated it. So it's really nice to just be like, oh, cool. Flexbox is a thing. Let's use it.
Well, that means you were pretty lucky that you didn't have to support any old IE.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, yeah, sort of. We have to support old IE, but I mean, I guess so long as we give them text back that's somewhat readable.
Oh, that's the bar now? Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
So we don't have to give it a full experience.
Yeah, we just give them text and say, hey, you use IE11, or no, IE11 is the current one, isn't it?
Yeah. That's not.
Well, you can yell at people for IE11 use. That's fine.
You use IE8. Time to join the 21st century.
What about Edge?
Edge? Oh, it's going to be so funny. Somebody on Twitter, I don't remember who said this, but he was like, "I'm gonna buy a bunch of Google AdWords for where did Internet Explorer go, or where did the Internet go?" Because now it's Edge and not IE. So
that is going to be such a weird change. Well, actually,
totally.
Not really though, because the E is going to be the same. The logo, the icon.
I mean, but they already use Edge as their rendering engine for later IE.
No, they don't. What?
Seriously?
Edge?
No, and like my I don't have my work code with me, but like my header in my page, I tell it to use Edge. It like enforces the latest rendering engine versus.
There is a thing. There's like a Chrome for old IEs. There's a Chrome web.
It's not the Chrome frame.
Not the Chrome frame. Okay, so then that means it's probably using the Edge rendering, like the latest build of whatever engine it supports. So in other words, not legacy.
It's the meta tag http-equiv x UA compatible content IE equal Edge.
Yeah, that just means use the latest rendering engine, but not necessarily Edge because it doesn't exist yet.
Okay.
I don't know if we know. I don't know if we even know if it's like a really different rendering engine or if it's this new Chrome. Like I don't know if we even know that.
It's just what are they calling it? Like Triton?
It's Triton right now, and if it changes, I'd be so impressed.
I mean, it comes out tomorrow, so we'll see.
See.
I just put in this Windows 10 section since we brought it up. Windows 10 Day is tomorrow.
Woohoo.
Yay, I think.
Or when you're listening to this, it's today. Hello, listener on Windows 10. I hope you can hear us, because you probably don't have any drivers.
No drivers. Are there even fewer drivers for Windows 10 than there are for Linux?
Well, let's go with probably.
I just updated my Windows 8 home partition on my MacBook. Getting ready.
So the real question is though, is like MPEG even a thing on Windows 10?
Do you have to license MPEG? If the answer is yes, then probably.
Okay. I guess that makes sense then, yeah.
What do you mean, why did you jump to that?
Who, me? No, yeah. I was just being snarky and continuing a non-joke, but no. Sorry. Yeah. Anyhow, next thing, CSS selectors, nesting selectors.
Yeah.
Why are they a bad thing?
I found this interesting article probably from somebody on Twitter, but it's been a while since I actually read it. But briefly, this guy is arguing for kind of like don't use Sass because you're going to ruin your CSS code when after it's compiled. And so basically people misuse nesting, and I am so guilty of this. I've done it and all the time. And it's just an interesting read through here of why nesting and why the and signed operator is kind of dangerous, and when you probably just shouldn't do it, and you should just use regular normal CSS classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really interesting thing, because when you go and learn Sass for the first time, you're not really told that you could do this so wrong.
Yeah, I started using SCSS this summer, the more standard markup for Sass at least.
Yeah.
And at work, because I used an example for a nav bar on CodePen, and they had it, and it made more sense to lay it out that way. And it seemed really nice, so I kept going with it. And the mix-ins are great. There are a bunch of functions in there for like sine, cosine, power, stuff that I use.
Have you ever used one of those math functions in your production code?
What?
Have you ever used one of those math functions in your production CSS?
But no.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure, because I've never done it either, but I know they're there.
Yeah, I've never done it either, but I've seen.
You look very menacing in this position.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm working from essentially a non-desk right now. It's kind of a cardboard box, so I'm trying to decide between. I'm trying to decide between like kneeling or looking like a sketchy person. So maybe we'll just go back to that.
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
Better. Now I just look like the guy from Home Improvement or whatever,
right,
just talking
exactly.
through the fence.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever's more comfortable for you, you go with it. So what about math functions in production code?
Well, I've never seen one. I don't even know what you would do with it. I don't know. I just think that it was funny.
It's like, I don't know, 60 lines of SCSS of math functions to calculate some angles for something that probably won't be tweaked very much, but why not?
Yeah, I don't know.
It gets compiled out, so...
So it's going to be fixed. It's not like it's going to be dynamically calculated or anything?
I mean, it's calculated when you...
At compile time?
CSS to CSS, and then it's not there, so, production code that's... The precompiled stuff is never going to see the client, so...
Yeah.
So I guess one of the things about this article that I found here is, it argues for just making more classes. So instead of making a parent class and then putting your H1, your span, and your A tags inside of it, just go and make a parent heading, a parent subheading, and parent permalink. And so what do you guys feel like is the right mix between semantic classes in HTML and actually just going down the right Sass route and making everything pretty as much as possible?
I mean, if I'm going to be the only one maintaining a site, I feel like, well, I guess on one hand, if I'm the only one maintaining it, it probably doesn't matter what I do.
Right.
But I would probably err towards just doing it pure Sass and then just dealing with whatever comes out of it. That's probably because the site that I do for myself that only I will ever have to maintain will probably be pretty small. But if I'm working with other people, I feel like... Now, this is kind of strange, but I feel like I'd probably be more likely to do something like what this article recommends. So just straight classes that are, as, non-specific as possible, so you can use them on any, element name. I feel like that would be what I'd do if I were writing production code. However, I'd also use something like SassDoc, even though I'm just writing straight-up CSS, to document what the heck those classes are.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, do you find yourself reusing a lot of classes when you after you've actually made them?
Oh gosh, yeah. On one of the sites that I maintain, for work, there's so many things where, basically we need to create a little envelope or a surrounding box of content, right? And the reason why is because there's some situations where either we need to mock something up for somebody, or we actually want this to go live in production, but we need to have a little encapsulated piece of content. We don't want it to just be like, oh yeah, look, I'm a paragraph hanging out in outer space here, right? And the way we have to do that is by figuring out what we want that to look like in a very composable fashion, so we can use it over and over again.
So kind of like a little card kind of thing.
Exactly. And like on one hand, that's the sort of thing that should probably be included in like the broader like template CSS for the entire site. But I should not comment much past that. It's very difficult to edit the the CSS of a live site.
Oh yeah.
With the particular thing that we've got going for managing that CSS.
Mm-hmm.
But rumor has it that better things are coming. So
rumor has it.
Rumor has it. I'm not building them, so I don't know. But
those rumors are tough.
Yeah. But what do you think, Brian? I mean, you might have done more production CSS than I have. What would you? Or definitely production SAS.
Well, mine isn't production yet. It's just in a continuous state of being worked on, and the next couple weeks, demos to other managers and higher ups and things.
Yeah, nice.
I would say overall, the code is messy at best. That's half of it working with someone else. There are 3 SCSS files for this project, and a lot of IDs, and so it's a mess. So I'd like to try using it in a different environment, and that's what I'm going to be doing with my website when I eventually get around to putting a lot of effort into it.
Yeah,
so
nice.
The goal is to stay with CSS and use it. I will be taking these into consideration, try not to go too overboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm guilty of using IDs way too much.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm breaking the habit, but it's still going, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm kind of at the point where I've struggled with the SAS layouts and trying to make everything semantic and wonderful, and then I do it wrong, and it doesn't matter. I just have to do it again anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree 100%. Like, when I use IDs in my CSS, that's basically like a sign that I've rage quit, right? Like, I've tried to get the darn thing to do what I wanted it to do in the way that I wanted it to do it, and just applying this on top of whatever, applying this class on top of whatever element's already there just wasn't going to cut it. Some user agent style thing is for some reason overriding it, and I just want to say, this thing, do this, or don't display it all, because I'm sick and tired of it. But
I've used a lot of IDs, at least in the portion of the code I've written. I know in the other portion there are more use of IDs than I would feel comfortable with, but there, I have an ID on a jQuery select menu, so it's a unique thing that isn't going to be repeated. There's only one, so it's easy to just call.
But how do you know there's only one?
Well, you can only, for the application, there are multiple menus, but only one functionality per menu, and you have to select it somehow to tie the functionality. And I could probably go by name or something. I don't know. I just use IDs because I know how to use it.
Yeah,
and
I know. That's me too.
And it makes sense for other people looking at it. I don't know how me using SCSS in this project will probably be a roadblock for people using this in the future, because
I don't know. I think SAS is really great because it's so intuitive. Yeah. It's just nested CSS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it's great to read, and the files, the CSS files are compiled there, and people will probably just go and edit that and delete the SCSS, maybe refer back. But like at work, they proxy all of the internet, so you lose. So using like Gem, you can't, because it fails on certificate stuff, because work is resolving everything. So you have to download locally, local install, any package manager, npm, Bowered, whatever. They all fail.
I don't know if it could sound more inconvenient, but that sounds pretty bad.
Is there any way that you can activate like no certificate checking or something on gems? I guess Ruby gems might be kind of an odd one, because the developers might have decided, no, we are not going to allow you to override it.
I feel like a couple of years ago, probably, but at this point, there's such a big push to not allow things like that to happen. So I don't know. I looked a little bit, but I just gave up, and I'm like, local install. They still have support for that.
Yeah. I mean, so long as it works. But no, definitely huge sympathies for that, because I can't imagine that would be a huge pain.
Yeah, it's been a roadblock at several times, but oh well. I have unproxied internet at home.
That's how you do it.
Gotcha. So I think we've got another piece of news that's kind of fascinating here too.
Oh yeah.
looks like Ryan's favorite social network.
My favorite social network, huh?
Is it your favorite social network?
Well, you can find me just about anywhere, but especially on the Twitter at Ryan Amar, and of course on the Google Plus, which is where I post pictures of something. I don't think I did anything this week. Never mind.
Gotcha. But I mean,
Twitter's first.
It's your favorite. Well, yeah, of course Twitter's first. But your favorite social network that is not Twitter, your favorite image social network.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not an Instagram folk yet, are you?
I mean, I have Instagram, but I never post to it because why bother?
Cross post.
I mean, it doesn't cross post to Google Plus, so why bother?
That's true. Well, could you set up like an if this then that sort of thing for it? Not that you should, but anyhow, let's before we
that's a fork in the process. Let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue. So it looks like there's a thing on the Google official blog here about Google Plus. What's that about?
Well, Brian, do you know anything about this?
Oh, it looks like everything's in its right place, according to the title.
That's what I hear.
I haven't actually read this article. I just commented in the show notes. Google Plus, lol, ha ha ha, bye bye.
Well, let me expand on that. So a year ago, I think, our good friend, I don't remember his name, decided that Google wasn't working out for him, and his name was Vic Condotra, and he decided to leave. Or he was fired, we don't know. Either that means Google Plus wasn't working out, which is probably the case, or something happened. He hasn't done anything since, so presumably he's, under NDA and don't, non-compete, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, since then, it's been our speculation that since Google Plus had its leader booted from the company, that it would be going under some changes, or at least, products would be split out from it. And so the first one that was split out was Photos, as you might have heard recently, which was great. Nice change. There's been a lot of talk about other things happening, such as Google Plus either going away completely or removing other services, and so that's actually happened. Google Plus won't be used anymore for the third-party app sign-in, and so instead of signing into your Google Plus account, you'll just be signing into your Google account. And then furthermore, you will no longer be forced to use like a Google Plus account on your YouTube account.
That blew up so much when YouTube converted to Google Plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was huge, and I even ran into this not too long ago when one of my fellow programmers at the U of M was working on just an app that he was doing kind of for fun, a really cool Rails app that hopefully at some point I can share with you all. But it used Google Plus for auth, for authentication and authorization, and I remember when I was trying to get this set up on my local machine. To test it. Actually, I deployed it to Heroku, which is kind of fun. I gutted all the other weird auth stuff out of it because I didn't want to deal with Facebook auth. I was just like, no, just give me Google. But even then, I had to activate the Google API, the Google Plus auth API, and I was like, why is this a Google Plus API? It seems weird that it would be it definitely seems like that's Gundotra's influence there, but it's now that he's gone,
not anymore.
I don't know. I just sign in with Twitter for everything.
Yeah,
am I right?
I just sign in with my own username and password personally.
I know. I'm kidding.
I know.
So I know we talked about this before. I ran across this. Was it for actually? Okay, so the Major League Baseball and Domino's has a thing where if someone gets a no-hitter, Domino's gives away 20,000 free pizzas.
Wow.
This happened yesterday at 2:00, so I made the account. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to use Facebook. And all the Facebook thing did, it had to jump to Facebook, log in, had to go through all that, only to get me my name and email address.
Of course.
Just use it for the whole application.
Yep.
Anyway. Didn't get it. All 20,000 were gone by 2:00 and 6 seconds, but...
Yeah. Have you ever gone to a blog or some other website that's running a competition or a contest kind of thing, and then it asks you to get entries by signing into Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus, or by email, and every single one you don't use, you don't get entries. But if you just actually go through one of them, it just uses your email, and that's it from that service.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty suspicious.
No, totally. I think I did one of those for Scotch.io, which is they do some fun node tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
I just did it for fun, threw them a bone because they're cool people, and I think they follow me on Twitter.
Oh, well.
Which is an easy way to guilt trip me. hackers.
Oh, guild hacking.
Yeah, right. Social engineering. But it ended up being kind of cool. I got a nice fancy ebook out of it. They probably would have given me for free anyway. But either way, it was it's weird how that works, right? Where it's like, oh well, if you sign up with email, then you get one entry. But if you sign up with email and Facebook, then you get two entries, and it's like you're just getting the same info.
Yep.
You're just getting an auth token for an OAuth token for.
I refuse
for
to give
too.
people my auth tokens. Those are mine. You can't have them.
Well, you do it, and then as soon as it's done, you go back and just revoke the.
I have done that. Yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
I do that every couple months. Just go. Exit.
Totally.
So what do you guys think about the idea here of Google going back so heavily on this Google Plus plan? If you recall 4 years ago, they said the future was Google Plus, the social web, social search, all these social aspects of Google's identity.
Mm-hmm.
They were all in. And now what do you think about the receding tide of that?
Call that.
It really kind of makes sense just based on the executive transitions. If I'm kind of prone to looking at it from the very business basic, the simplest explanation to me seems like the person who cared about it being the next thing, the next evolution of the social web, he's no longer there. So now they're like, okay, let's go back to doing this quote unquote the right way. But it's kind of funny too, because in my work life, I know Google Plus has become a huge thing for me in the past year and a half, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I really use it for any social reason, but just basically anyone I need to chat with at work is in my circles. Do I manage those circles in any meaningful way? No, they're just all in a big circle called work. But anytime somebody posts something there, one of the service directors or whatever, I get a notification, and it's kind of cool, and I kind of warmed to it, even though originally I was like, we should just be using email. Come on, guys. But
Gmail.
I've warmed to it. I have to say. But I'm not really gonna. I don't feel like any of these changes really offend what Google Plus is for me and for the people I work with.
Yeah.
Right. It feels like, okay, cool. It's just separating out the auth API again.
Yep.
It's just divorcing the YouTube profile from the Google Plus profile, and that seems very reasonable to me.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's really interesting for a company to be so gung-ho about something they're not really sure about, instead of just letting it grow organically and saying, well, that's cool, I'm glad it did so well. I feel like that would have been a more pragmatic approach to have taken this social stuff, through. On the other hand, I think it's great that we're getting YouTube back.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting going forward, though, seeing what they do with Google Plus, because instead of being the hub of everything like they promised it would be, it's really the hub of nothing. And in a way, it will either die off or remain a nameless product going forward forever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
But it's a weird nameless product. Like the people who used Google Reader, which is one of the number one products that Google killed, recently, thousands, millions of people used it, and then it was just dead. And then what? Google didn't do anything about it. They didn't bring it back. They didn't hire somebody to fix it. So
Apple News.
We'll talk about that next week, okay? I think it's weird that Google Plus could go down that same route, and I wonder if there's enough people to force Google to keep it going.
For my personal enterprise use of it, enterprise use of it is so so minor, such a small sliver of what Google Plus is kind of made to do, that I really don't, if it were to be gone tomorrow, I think we'd just all use HipChat and be fine with it. Or, all transition to Slack and
Hangouts would still exist, because that's not Google Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing I like about Google Plus is I can just share something publicly, and then anybody I know can just go up to it and say hi. There's no reason they can't just convert that into something like Hangouts, but just a global Hangout.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I
think you're onto something there.
I think it's called the Internet. Is that right?
I will say, I think
it's one big hangout.
It's been nice having Google Plus. I will say a little bit. Just I don't really use it, especially their the Facebook kind of thing. But just having one account tying everything together under the same kind of profile, it's been kind of convenient. And And Brennan, you bring up using it for work. That's something I hadn't really thought about because we have it through school, and so it's kind of compare it. But like at work, we use all Microsoft stuff, so we use SharePoint and all of the Microsoft account things. And so that's kind of nice having one account everywhere, and everything just kind of works together. That's Google was going with it, but pushed too hard on the social point.
Yep.
And then it kind of flopped there because people didn't want to use this extra network. And that's how they saw it, and less of a shared account and profile management system.
Yeah, totally. Nonetheless, it'll be kind of interesting to see where it goes, right? If it'll go the way of like paying as far as the big companies starting social networks that then are not really social nor networky. Yeah. I think with that, I think we're almost ready to call it an episode, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, Brian, where can we find you next week?
Next week, you can find me in Eden Prairie.
Nice.
I will be on the internet, as always, at bman4789 or at tech4789, the more interesting account, I will say. Or you can go to my still not updated website, brianm.me. Hasn't seen anything in months. Or if you're feeling a little bored, go to heygetbacktoo.work.
Nice.
What about you, Brandon?
Well, you can find me just about everywhere at Brandon_MN, particularly on the Twitters, which is, I'd have to say, my favorite social network, like Ryan. You can also find me on GitHub on my newly christened GitHub account. That's Brampersanden. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's my name and there's nothing up there. So as in BR and then the and symbol.
No more Skyline project.
Well, that's there too. That actually has stuff in it, but this is probably where all my new stuff will go because it makes more sense for that because Skyline Project is just like a really old thing that doesn't really have any relation to much of anything, which is probably why I liked it so much.
That it was it was a good name too, like a code name.
Exactly, 15 years ago. Anyhow, those are the main places you can find me. Also, my website is brndn.xyz. That's where I post stuff about, like the stuff I'm working on. In kind of a broader sense, whether it's on GitHub or not really on GitHub. Yeah. How about you, Ryan?
Oh, you can find me just about anywhere, especially on Twitter at RyanMar, and of course on the Google+, which is where I post pictures of walks I take with the dog at fancy dog parks. This one was called Mika Island, and it was pretty nice. It's down by the Mississippi River.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
Nice. Yep. Well, it's been a great show here. We've got 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining. Any last words?
I got 53-52 over here.
Well, 50. Should I refresh? It's still 56 for me.
Oh,
46, 45, 44. I can just count it down if you like. I guess.
Ours are on sync.
Well, they're supposed to be in sync. I don't know what to tell you. Like my clock. What? I don't know. Whatever.
I think the trick is that I'm on Comcast, so time runs more slowly for me.
Well, it's because you're behind the. You're getting throttled. Your time rate is throttled. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're hugging your cycles.
It all makes sense. Yeah.
But that means you have a cap on time. You won't get old.
It's true. It's true. I'm stuck with my youthful glow forever.
Exactly.
So I guess there are worse things to be.
Well, this has been a great show. Thanks for coming on and recording it.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you guys.
Yep. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to PodKit. For more, listen to The Fringe and listen to the next episode too.